Welcome everyone to Beyond the Adventure. Today's episode is Skyline Drive Part 2, and let's get started. So for the opening shot here, I wanted to show you guys the map, the same map that I was showing you guys in last week's episode of Beyond the Adventure. Like I started the episode out by saying, this was the halfway point on the Skyline Drive, which was the bird, the Larry F. Bird Visitor Center. It is right here on the map. We had traveled, I think it was 50... No, that can't be right. Yeah, I think it was. It was like 50 something, 51, 52 miles. The whole length of the Skyline Drive is like 105 miles, and that was like mile 51 or 52. Anyways, it was pretty close to the halfway point. Just getting started here, leaving the visitor center. I shot a little bit of footage inside the visitor center. There really wasn't that many cool things that I saw in there. One thing that I did see I will include in this clip right here, right now. But other than that, I just thought I would get the journey started here. This was the first stop. Now, the first time that I was down south when I was a real young kid, we went to go to some, I think it was called the Stump House Tunnel or something like that. And it was supposedly near some creek. So we were asking, like, I forgot who it was. We were asking somebody at a gas station, how do we get to this area, this Stump House Tunnel, which is near, I don't even know the name of the creek. But the guy was like, creek? What's a creek? It's pronounced crick. So ever since then, that's always stuck in my head that for some reason or another, like the thick southern accent pronounces creek, crick. I don't even know if I'm saying that right or not, but either way, it's just another cool thing about different regions in the United States. Now, getting started here, this was all filmed on the same exact day. So earlier on the episode, last week's episode, I will throw the link up here or down below in the description as well. But last week's episode, we're traveling through a rainstorm. We got up to the halfway point on the mountain, on the Skyline Drive here. The clouds have broken up. Now you can really see what I was talking about last week here with a lot of the trees not having any of their leaves yet for the year. Granted, this was a couple of weeks ago that we were down here. I guess it's pretty much closer to a month now at this point in time, so I'm sure this whole area is filled out and all the trees are green. But you can see the changing of the elevation, the different amounts of leaves and foliage, I just can't say that word, that are on the trees at the different times. Now, this drive right here, the second part of the journey, like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because, you know, the rain had ended, but all of these animals started coming out. We saw a bear, we saw a deer, we saw a couple deer actually. There was one deer on the side of the road, one deer off in the distance that I didn't even notice at first till I was like looking down the brush because I kept hearing something rustling around. I didn't know if it was a chipmunk or something like that. I really liked this view right here. That's why I chose it for the promo pick for the episode, for the original Adventure Wednesday episode of Skyline Drive Part 2. I just think it is so cool when you get up into the elevation there. You can look down and you just, I mean, look at all these clouds going by. I mean, you can really understand why they call this the Skyline Drive, because you're literally driving along the line of the sky. Pretty freaking cool. Now, heading down here, going towards, I forget where exactly we were, so that was, if I can find it here, like Lewis Mountain, I believe. Somewhere around Lewis Mountain or South River Overlook, somewhere around there. So that's like, you know, we're getting to about 3/4 of the way distance of the Skyline Drive here. Like I said last week, very, very cool map that is provided to you when you enter the park. Also, last week I said it was like $14 to get in. No, it was more like $25 or $28 to get in. Definitely still well worth it. I'm probably just thinking back to the time that I went down here when I was a little kid, when it was only like $14, or I don't know if it's cheaper for a motorcycle to get in than it is a car, I imagine. So, I don't know, but like I said, that's the current rate at the time of me doing this episode. It was like $25 or $28 per vehicle to go in there, and you can load it up. You can have 10 people in the car if your car fits it. So pulling off here, now you can see right there in the dead center of the screen, those are all the rain clouds, the actual rain. You see it falling down there. Look at that beam of light. I thought that was just awesome. That reminded me of the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones puts the staff and the light goes through and it shines on the little miniature diorama of the town, of the Egyptian town. Anyways, very cool stuff. Heading around here, we went to this bend right here. and this had another weird name. Like all of the ones on the second episode here, the second episode had just weird names. Like we started out at, I believe it was Naked Creek Overlook. This one was, I think this one here, I don't know, there was a Bush Mountain or something like that. No, it was farther past that. Ivy Creek Overlook or Bacon Hollow Overlook. I mean, just let me read off some of these names to you. Signal Knob Overlook, Goonie Run Overlook, Jenkins Gap, Hogwallow Flats, Hogwallow, not Hogwellow, it's Hog W-A-L-L-O-W. We got Range View Overlook, Gimlet Ridge, not Gimli Ridge, Gimlet Ridge, Hogback Overlook, which was really cool because Hogback Mountain is up in Vermont and we go there every single year in the fall. We got Elk Wallow, there is Hazel Mountain, Pinnacles Overlook. Those aren't really that interesting. Let me see if I can. Little Stony Man Parking. That's a Little Stony Man Mountain. Spelter Knoll Overlook, Upper Hawksbill, Rapidan Camp, Bear Fence Mountain Parking, South River Overlook, High Top Mountain Range, Bacon Hollow, Eaton Hollow Overlook, Simmons Gap, Loft Mountain, Ivy Creek, Brown Mountain, Rocky Top, Loft Mountain, Big Run, Doyle's River, Brown Gap, right here. Anyways, this is the bear. This is the bear that we saw. This bear pretty much started us seeing wildlife for the rest of this day. This thing, the guy on the motorcycle drove by and he flashed his lights, and I wasn't sure what he was, maybe, like trying to signal that there was people on bicycles or something going by, but no, there was actually a bear in the middle of the road, and it ran up to a tree, and there was actually a guy who got out of his car and he starts walking around with the bears up in the tree, something I would not suggest or recommend ever doing. My grandmother used to have bears in her backyard all the time, and she would feed them from the back door, and my grandfather would yell at her. But anyways, like I said, this bear must have been like the first animal, like the cutting of the ribbon for seeing animals that day, because not even 5 minutes after seeing that bear, we came to the next stop. This is where I was talking about. I was looking at where it looks like there was a forest fire or something, and I heard some rustling, and boom, right down in those little patch of brushes right there, you're going to see it in a second, there was a deer wandering around. Right here as I zoom in, you'll see the deer. It's between like the two bushy trees, and there's like kind of like a V in the middle. He's dead set in the center of the screen right now. You'll see him move. Female deer grazing. But yeah, see all the trees right there? It definitely looks like there was a forest fire, or maybe, a lightning strike that caused a forest fire or something like that happened recently up there. Anyways, continuing down, this is where we find our next animal of the adventure, which is right in here. So now, I have always seen these like growing up in, pet stores and stuff like that. I've never seen one out in the wild in New England. I've seen other critters that are kind of like this, but in a second it's going to pop up. I'm not sure if it is a millipede or a centipede. It is some type of pede. Not the human centipede though, because that would not be an interesting thing to see. But anyways, here it is right here. This thing was massive, absolutely massive. Even Amanda's taking pictures because, like I said, this is something that you'd already seen in like a pet shop up until this point in time. I've never seen one of those wandering around the woods in New England or turning over, decaying forest matter or broken trees or, limbs or things like that. I never saw one of those climbing around. Now, as you see, we're getting towards the southernmost tip on the Skyline Drive right here, and it is starting to cloud up a little bit. What I really enjoy most about this drive right here is the fact that the overlooks are spread out. I mean, granted, there are a lot of overlooks in some places that are really close together, but you look, there's an overlook on your right, then there's an overlook on your left, then there's an overlook on your right. Like it, the splitting, what's the right word that I'm looking for? The variety, I guess I'm trying to say, of different lookout points and giving the option to look at one side of the mountain and then the other side of the mountains is really, really cool because, there could be a storm going on the left side of the road, and on the right side of the road, it's completely sunny and bright. So heading down here, we're getting lower in elevation slightly. You can see like the trees are starting to get a little more leaves on them and foliage. I gotta work on saying that word. I just can't pronounce it for some reason. Anyways, heading down here, I'm gonna see if I can see one of the signs as I drive past it. Let's see what's coming up next. Nope, can't really see the signs, but that's okay. So continuing on this drive here. Now right there, I don't know what happened. The camera was recording, and when I went to go through the footage and edit it, everything was fine, and then just the screen went blank. Never had that happen while I was shooting like a time lapse or anything like that before with my phone, but it literally went blank for about 20 seconds and then picked back up recording. The phone didn't overheat. The phone had enough storage on it. It's just some weird glitch. I mean, granted that was, I think, like 15 or 20 minutes or so of solid recording there, but still the phone had been, recording a bunch of other times, and it would have had like an overheat warning, or it would have had, memory full or something like that. I just found that very strange that it cut out randomly like that and then picked back in. Anyways, continuing our drive here, you can see it's starting to rain again as we're going down the mountain, heading down south, further south than what we previously were in other episodes. Now, there is another cool overlook coming up right ahead. I think it's up here on the left is the next one that we stop at. Let's see if I remember correctly. Nope, I think the next one's going to be a overlook on the right. Maybe? No, okay, that's where it was. I pulled in on the left and then had to turn the truck around. Check that out. Check that little body of water out in the dead center of the screen right there. You can see what I mean though. You can see the rain all the way off in the distance working its way over the mountains, and then like the next closest range of mountains that is near you. Okay, here's the second deer. The next closest range of mountains that's near you, you can see that it's still sunny and clear. Deer just minding his own business, minding her own business, heading through the woods, trying to catch something to eat before the rain starts. Now the animals down here, I found this very surprising for the amount of cars that travel through the area. The animals just don't really seem to be afraid of humans. They understand, I guess. I don't want to say they understand, but they know that they have to get out of the way when a car is coming. Now, there will be something in a couple weeks coming up involving animals in my truck, which is an episode that I really can't wait to show you guys. But for the time being, let's just look at this. You can see all the rain off in the distance, the sun breaking through even further away. It's like clear, rain, clear, really, really cool. So we're continuing our drive down, and this was towards the absolute tail end of Skyline Drive. They start doing some construction work, and a couple more turns from now they're actually, I think, resurfacing the road. They're not repaving it completely, but it is exciting to see that they do keep this park up, because there is a lot of parks around where I live that are owned by the state that they don't really take care of, and they let the roads deteriorate and then they close them down. Yeah, so here's a road work coming up right now, and like last year when we went down to Gatlinburg, they were repaving all the road, partially because they had that huge forest fire down there, but also because the road was in pretty rough shape to begin with. So like I said, it's always nice to see that your taxpayer dollars and the taxes that you pay and everything, the money is being used to keep these national parks a national treasure, which is what they are. Like I said, and here, where is it? Where is it? Let me find it. Here it is. No, I can't find it. There's something I wanted to read here. Okay, right here. People came to the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia for rest and recreation long before Shenandoah National Park was established. The Depression-era Civilian Conservation Corps built the park in the 1930s. They built many rustic-style park facilities, some still seen in use today, so that everyone could retreat to the mountains for recreation and relaxation, which I think is a very important pastime that has seems to have been lost in recent years in America. You know, it doesn't really seem like all these people back in the day used to go on these epic road drives, you know, cross country. You know, I'm thinking back to National Lampoon's Vacation with Clark Griswold and the family truckster, and they go across the country to go to Wally World. I just don't feel like I see that many, you know, massive epic road trips going on. There's so many people that just choose to fly to the destination, and my whole thing with flying to the destination is you hop on a plane, you're inside a steel cigar tube, and then you land at wherever you're going and you explore that area, back in a plane, back to your house. When you sit there and you drive in the car, you're seeing so much more of the country. You're taking in so much more of the country. You're seeing so many more things than you would have ever seen hopping on a plane and looking out the window and seeing a bunch of clouds. But anyways, guys, laptops closed. That's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see everybody tomorrow for Thungry Thursday. Peace.